To the student experience session for the University of Guelph Campus Days. My name is Jenny Danes and I use she, her pronouns, and I am very excited to get to present to you folks today and let you folks talk to some wonderful students that we have up here on the screen who you folks will all meet shortly. So we'll start us off with a quick presentation, but before I do so, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm currently sitting on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit Nation. This is also the traditional territories of the University of Guelph. Many Indigenous peoples currently live, work, and learn on the land, as well as all of us do. And at the University of Guelph, we know that it's extremely important to acknowledge, respect, and walk hand in hand in acts of reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. So we are very excited to have you all here today to talk a little bit about the student experience at the University of Guelph and to share some of the support resources that we have available for you. And then you folks will get to hear, like I said, from some of the amazing students that we have today to hear a little bit about their experiences at the university. So when starting at the University of Guelph, we acknowledge that this is a really exciting time. It can also bring up some nerves and it can also bring up feelings of excitement as well. And there's a few things that you folks can expect in your first year. So first year is really exciting and it is a big adjustment. And our role as the Student Experience Department is to really support you from your transition from high school or wherever you may be coming from to university. And this really for us starts June 1st and starting you throughout the summer and supporting you with that transition. So we have a few different resources available to you all to engage in over the summer. So we have a new student website called Start Online, where you can find a wealth of information, important links and dates that you'll need to know for your first year at U of G. We also offer summer advising for students, so you can meet with me. I'm the new student advisor, or you can meet with a variety of other different advisors depending on your identities, which we'll talk about in a few short minutes. We also will have some virtual events called Start on Campus, which will talk about various different activities for folks and information sessions similar to this one that you can get involved in, as well as in-person campus tours. You'll have lots of opportunities to meet new students throughout our campus days throughout the summer, as well as our orientation week program. We'll also be sending out weekly emails in June throughout August and actually throughout the year with all the important information that you folks need to know for that week during U of G. And of course, we keep you up to date on all your dates and deadlines, so you folks will never miss anything important. So there's tons of resources to support you as a new Griffin. On the screen, this is a snapshot of that startonline.ca website I was speaking about, which is really a website where you will be able to find different information about finances, academics, community on campus, different events happening. We also have the weekly Start emails, which are a great resource, our Start on Campus events, the advising, and we also have orientation week. So orientation week is the first week of September, so starting from Labor Day weekend until the following September 11th. It kicks off with move-in weekend, so if you folks are planning on living in residence, you'll move in, and then we start a week-long programming for orientation week to help welcome new Griffins onto our campus. You'll meet different folks in your different academic programs. You'll also meet students who are living in similar circumstances, so in different residence buildings, or if you're an off-campus student, we have an off-campus events as well. And you'll also get to check out a variety of our clubs and societies that run amazing events throughout the week and really just get to know the campus community and have fun. Another great support that our office offers is actually resources for parents and supporters. So we have a parents and supporters guide, which you can read through, and it actually kind of goes through the typical semesters at the U of G and gives you some ideas of some of the main themes and events that happen on our campus throughout the year. So you're able to stay up to date with your student and what is happening as well. We also offer a variety of different advising programs. So we actually have student advisors and supports for BIPOC students, which means Black, Indigenous, and people of color. We also have international student advisors who are able to meet with our international students, help them transition into the campus, and also provide some immigration support. We have support for new and transfer students, so folks who are transferring from another post-secondary institution. We have support and an advisor for LGBTQ2A+ students, off-campus students, and student leaders. If there's ever a point throughout the summer when you're unsure of who to contact or who you want to chat with, you can always connect with an advisor. The way you can do this is by simply emailing start@uog.ca at the University of Guelph. We can connect you to an advisor or the right resources that will get you started here at U of G. We also offer a variety of different mentorship programs and engagement programs and transition programs. So you can be paired with an upper year student and meet with them one-on-one throughout the winter semester to kind of work on things like study skills, time management, and all those things. We also offer a variety of skill building workshops and training for our student leaders and for new students as well. We also run community building and social events throughout the year. So just last week, we had a pottery paint night for our first and second year students, where all students got to register for the event, come together and paint a little ceramic mug. It was a really great way for our students to connect and meet each other again. And we also have over 300 plus clubs and organizations to join. So there really is something for everyone. So regardless if your passions are like reading or origami or cooking, we have clubs. We also have college government societies. So depending on your program and what college you belong to, there's ways to get involved socially in the college governments as well. And we also have identity-based clubs and societies and programs and supports like the Indigenous Student Society that you can get involved with and find that community as well. So U of G is really more than just the classroom, and that's what we believe in here at the Student Experience Office. And really, it's really important for you folks to make the most out of your degree and know that the classroom is extremely important, but it can also happen outside of the classroom. So we really encourage new students to get involved on day one in something. We realize that first year looks different for all types of students, and it will look different for all of you, but really getting involved in something, either that's a club or you just go to one event during a week, or you volunteer, or you go to a meeting for your student government. Creating those connections as early as possible can be really beneficial, and you never know what that might lead into. A lot of our student leaders, who you'll hear from later, will kind of talk about how they got involved in something day one, and now they're really holding leadership positions on the campus, which is really cool. It's actually proven that students who are more involved outside of the classroom are more motivated, have stronger supports, and are also more resilient when faced with challenges, because they are connected not only in their academics, but they're connected to the broader campus community. And they gain additional skills and experiences by engaging in opportunities outside of the community. And really at Student Experience, one of the personal reasons that I love working for the department is that we get to work with students, but I also get to see the students grow and develop new skills and really see them shine in all their talents. So that is quite amazing as well. And if you're really not sure where to start, it's a great place to start with us. So we can are also like a resource hub who can connect you with a variety of different resources and supports. You may see some of them, so we can connect you with athletics or the library. Tons of wonderful supports for you all across campus. And we're happy to be that kind of connection point for all our new students as well. So some things that you folks can expect from May to September. So a really important tip I would say to right off the bat is to check your email weekly. So you'll have a U of G central login, and it gives you access to something called Griff Mail. Griff Mail is just our university email system. It's an Outlook platform, and this is where the university will send your official communications. So this is where you can hear from the university and receive updates, also where your professors and TAs will connect with you as well. It's really important to get into that habit of using your U of G email to connect with campus partners, as we are actually only allowed to respond to U of G emails just as a security measure, so we know that it's actually you. There will also, starting in May, be our new student website, so startonline.ca. This is that website that I spoke to earlier that has a wealth of information and important dates. It's currently up and running now, but it's not updated for the upcoming year. And so that will be updated in May, and then the full launch will happen in June with even more details. If you want to check out our email or our website and see the variety of different kind of programs and services we offer, the website is uofguelph.ca/student experience. And then if you have any questions or you don't know, you have a question, but you're not sure who to connect with, you can email start@uoguelph.ca. That email is monitored by myself and our START team, and we'd be happy to connect you regardless of the question. We always love supporting our folks. And as well, follow us on social media at U of G Student Experience on Instagram and Twitter. Throughout the summer, you'll see tons of different videos, campus tours, student testimonials, and you'll also learn some tips and tricks. And throughout the year and during a week, we have lots of really great fun giveaways happening, and you can learn all about different events that are happening on campus as well. So that's enough from me, because I really want you folks to be able to learn from some of our incredible students about what they found useful at U of G and how they kind of have gone along in their student journey. So it's my pleasure to introduce the students. So we have Olivia, Simran, Adam, and Swathi joining us today. In a moment, I'll stop sharing my screen and allow them to introduce themselves. But I'm very excited to have you folks hear from these folks and learn all about their experiences as U of Guelph students. So I'll stop sharing my screen there. You can see all our wonderful students. So I'll let them introduce themselves. So Olivia, would you like to start off by introducing yourselves to our attendees?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. So yeah, my name is Olivia. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm in my third year in biomedical science.
Awesome. Simran, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Simran. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm in third year criminal justice and public policy.
Thank you, Simran. Adam.
Hi everyone, my name's Adam. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm in my third year of commerce, majoring in management.
And Swathi.
Hi everyone, I'm Swathi. I'm in my fourth year of biomedical science with a creative writing minor, and I use she, her pronouns.
Amazing. Thank you, folks. So as you'll see, we have a variety of different students and different programs here to chat with you all today. So let's get started with our first question. And Olivia, if you want to start us off, how did you get involved in your degree, and what type of experiences have you had so far at University of Guelph?
Yeah, so in first year and throughout my degree so far, I've been volunteering with Project Serve. So basically, it's they plan one-day volunteering events at different parts of the community. So I volunteered at a Cancer Society mud run in Guelph, and then there was an opportunity to be able to board rock. And then one of the local churches had to prep their apple trees for winter. So it's a good opportunity to get involved in the community outside, not only just in campus, but outside of campus as well. Other than that, this year I started volunteering with Guelph Queer Equality, which is a special status group on campus that plans events for and advocates on behalf of LGBTQ plus students on campus. So that's kind of my volunteer experience at Guelph.
Thank you so much, Olivia, for sharing about how you get involved in Guelph and in the broader community as well. What about you, Simran? How have you gotten involved in your degree?
Yeah, so like starting from my first year, I got involved in the Criminal Justice and Public Policy Society. A lot of degree programs at Guelph have their own societies and clubs, and I just really wanted to get involved and be a part of the executive council. So straight from first year, I was able to be a first year representative and make other people in my program aware of different events and different opportunities that we were offering. And I also had the opportunity to really engage and plan and really build amazing connections with other team members. And even till now, I started off as a first year rep, and then in my second year, I advanced to an event planner. So I was able to contact different resources for different events, whether it's our career panel or even Q&A with professors night. So we're really able to branch out and really show our leadership skills by doing these great opportunities and really branching people together. And now in my third year, I'm actually one of the co-presidents of the society. So I feel like it's really been a great advancement, and it's really been great to see the whole team grow as time has moved forward as well. And then working on campus as well. In the summer of 2021, I started off as a student outreach facilitator, and that has really been an amazing experience. I still have the position today, and it's been really great to reach out to students and really lend a helping hand to enhance like their overall experience at Guelph. And in addition to that, I've also been able to be a START facilitator on campus. So we're also able to help cater a specific with specific advice to really help students get the most out of their degree and get the most out of their experience here.
Thank you so much, Simran. It's great to hear how you got involved in your degree program socially as well, and in our office as well. Adam, would you like to tell us more about how you got involved in your degree?
For sure. So similar to Simran, my kind of involvement journey at Guelph started in first year. I went to an orientation week event that was called We Mean Business, which was essentially a club fair with all the different clubs within the commerce branch. There's also amazing club fairs that happen with broader campus community where they kind of display all the different clubs that are available for you to join or take part in their events. And so, yeah, We Mean Business, I connected with the DECA executive. Some of you might be involved in DECA in high school. It also carries over into university. It's just a business case competition club, essentially. So I got involved as a first year rep with DECA. And then from there, my involvement opportunities kind of just sprang up from conversations I had with people involved in other clubs. A theme definitely among student leaders on campus is that you're usually involved in multiple different things at once. So from there, I was able to join the Management Student Association, and I've had a great experience there, made some really great friends and connections that will stay with me for a long time. So definitely involved in student clubs has been an awesome opportunity. And then I've also had the opportunity to work on campus. In my first year, I started as a student desk clerk, just at the front desk if students lock themselves out or anything like that. And then in the summer, just this past summer, I worked as a summer crew conference assistant. And then right now I'm actually doing my co-op with student experience. So tons of opportunities if you're looking to get involved, volunteering. And then there's also a lot of opportunities if you're looking to work on campus. And so that's kind of been my involvement journey so far with Guelph.
Thank you, Adam, for sharing a little bit about your work on campus and the business opportunities for getting involved as well. Swati, how about yourself? What has your experience been like?
Yeah, so my experience sort of kind of started off with student experience and then it branched out to a few other things and now I'm back in student experience. So it's been fun. I started off as a peer helper in the Office of Intercultural Affairs. That's what it was called 3 years ago. Now it's evolved like many other things on campus. So from the peer helper role, I was able to branch off into being a residence life staff. So I was a program facilitator in East Residence. So if you have any questions about residence, I might be able to answer real quick. So I was doing the program facilitator role in East, where we did sort of weekly themed programming. So there's different types of programming that we did. We have the Eco House, we have the Leadership House. Something new is the Indigenous House. There's the International House, French Learning House. So all of these kind of communities promote themed learning in the sense that you live together with people that are like-minded. So I was kind of the program facilitator hosting some of these events that ran in residence. So it was great getting to know the larger residents community. And I also got to work with residence life staff in my team that were also very like-minded, very motivated, and wanted to make a great first year experience for residence life students. And then I kind of branched off into being a part-time staff in student experience during the summer. So that was very exciting. I've trained over almost around 100 volunteers over summer, almost, not sure about the numbers anymore. And we ran a special program called Start International, which runs right before orientation week. And it is for incoming international students, exchange students, or transfer students, or out of country Canadians. So that was really fun. And I'm back being a residence life staff again. So it's been a bit of both, but I do think that the people that I met along the way, they were the people that kind of connected me to all the different experiences. So yeah, definitely one thing led to another, and then here I am in 4th year.
Thank you, Swati. It was so great to hear about your variety of different experiences and residents and student experience. And I'm sure the students are lucky to have you supporting them as well. So like we kind of mentioned in the presentation, first year can be a really exciting time. It can also be a little nerve-wracking. And here at U of G, we really believe that it's important and okay to ask for help. Everyone needs help along the way. So I'd like to ask you folks as students, what supports did you access when you wanted help during your time at U of G? And let's start off with Olivia.
Yeah, so in first year, I'm not sure if it's still called the same thing, but I took part in Start on Track, which was a student mentorship. So I was paired with an upper year in the same program as me. And we met up once a week and discussed like coursework, motivation, study tips, things like that. I had a few friends that also took part in it and found it was really beneficial just to hear from someone in your program, but a few years ahead of you. Other than that, I found all of my TAs and professors very helpful. They all just want to help you learn. So like whenever I'm struggling or I have questions about things, it's always good to reach out to your TAs and professors. And that's kind of how I've found help throughout my degree.
Amazing. Thank you, Olivia. Simran, what about you? What sports have you accessed?
Yeah, one of my favorite resources has actually been like the peer helper program. They really do offer a wide variety of different services and programs. And personally, the interview preparation part that they offer has been really beneficial towards me. And I find that they're really familiar with like the whole interview process, and they're able to really give specific advice to students. And because they're really experiencing so many different interactions with other students accessing their resources, they're really familiar and knowledgeable about like what questions that you should expect on a specific job. And I feel like an opportunity like that has really helped me for like job interviews, such as like the role that I'm in right now. And I feel like it really was impactful, and it really made me more confident in my abilities. It really gave me more tips and tricks that I could use to answer questions and be like more concise, which is like really beneficial. And then another really good resource that I access on campus was the U Shine program, So this is also like a peer facilitator program. This one's run by Student Wellness. So they're really able to have like a one-on-one connection with a student facilitator, and they're able to help you reach your personal goals for like the semester, whether that's just like health, wellness, mental health. It really just has like a wide variety. And I really like how the student is really listening to you and listening to your like personal like concerns or things that you wanted to address in the meeting, and they really are able to show like that compassion and the expertise to really help you address the goals that you want to see. So I just really would suggest like accessing as much like peer-to-peer support, because it's really just great to get help from a student who's been in the same situation, or a student who is in like a similar place that you're in.
Thank you, Simran, for sharing that. Adam, what about you?
For sure. So when I joined student club in first year as a first year rep, I definitely immediately made connections with upper year students, which was super great. I kind of had almost a built-in support network just from the people involved in the same things as me. So that was really great to just, just have someone there as an upper year student who you could talk to, get advice from, and then also just, guidance and look up to as a role model. And it's really cool to kind of follow that path and be now an upper year student in a position where I can do the same thing for incoming students. As far as more formal supports that I've accessed from the university, I've accessed student wellness counseling services a couple times throughout my degree. I've had an incredible experience with them every time. They're very flexible and very quick if you're trying to book an appointment versus normal counseling routes. Sometimes you're waiting for a while, or it's a struggle to really find an appointment or a time that works for you. But with student wellness, every time I've accessed their resources, it's been super quick. They're super supportive, and they really care about the students. And you can tell that in the way they do business and the way that they offer their services. They really cater it towards what works best for you and what you're looking for. So I've had a great experience with them throughout my degree. And then I've also accessed a couple library supports. They have an IT desk just right in the front door at the library. My computer, for some reason, always breaks down at the most crucial times during exams or assignments that are due. So anytime that happens, I just go into the IT desk, and they're always more than willing to help me. And every time I go in, they're able to fix the problem pretty quick. So that's been a great support for me. And then also the Business Career Development Center. In the Lang School of Business, there's BCDC operates, and they just offer supports such as resumes and interview tips, all sorts of different things. So I've accessed their supports for help with improving my resume when applying for jobs, and then also just some interview tips. So they're available for all sorts of career related things to help students kind of really boost themselves in a professional standpoint. So those are kind of all the supports that I've accessed through my degree so far.
Thank you for sharing, Adam. And Swati, would you like to share about different supports you've accessed?
Yeah, for sure. So similar to some of the other folks that spoke, I accessed a lot of support within kind of like the things that I was involved in. So in terms of academics, I think one of the most useful things that I did was going to supportive learning groups, so the SLGs. You might find it difficult when you're in a large first year classroom to kind of make friends. It's not always easy while the professor is speaking to kind of like turn around and be like, hey, can I like look at your notes real quick? I missed that point. So if you're kind of like struggling like that, where it's a very large lecture hall or a very large classroom in general, supported learning groups are the place for you. They're kind of like smaller groups, and they're student run and student led. And not only do you get to meet some of your classmates outside of the classroom, and it kind of takes that barrier away where you're all trying to get things down or trying to make, all your notes perfect and organized. You get to actually sit down, and you can ask an upper year student any of your questions and not feel like you're behind, because everyone's in the same boat. Everyone comes to supported learning groups to ask questions. So definitely one of the biggest resources and one of the best resources that I utilized as a first year, because some of the friends I made and some of the connections I made in those classes, it stuck around because we were in the same major. So that was one of my academic supports that I'm super thankful for. In terms of professional support, being residence life staff meant that I had weekly check-ins or bi-weekly check-ins with a upper year kind of staff member or my manager. So in residence life, you have a mentorship program as well. So you get to be mentored by one of the more professional managers who kind of gone through university and post-grad studies. So they can kind of like, if you are interested in going into student affairs and things, they can kind of talk to you about their path and how they kind of face certain situations. And in terms of interviews, they're also a great resource to use. And a fun fact about being a part of like the residence life staff community, you also get to take part in interviews and interview incoming staff. So that kind of puts you on the other side of things where you get to interview incoming staff. And I think because of these different situations, I got the best of both worlds, all sorts of worlds, to be honest. So not only was I sharpening and honing my skills as someone who was sitting on the other side, I was also able to see how people tackled certain questions. And I think that certainly helped me as well. And overall, being part of the peer helper program really helped me make connections and really meet students that weren't even undergrad. For example, one of the PhD students I worked with in my peer helper role turned out to be a student working under a professor in a neuroscience lab that I was very, very interested in. And that connection kind of helped me get an undergraduate research position in the lab. So you never know, one position might lead you to something else completely different. It's all about kind of taking risks and putting yourself out there sometimes. So really glad I got those resources and supports.
Thank you, Swati. So we have a few questions in the chat, and then I'm going to ask you folks our final question about some advice. But one question here, let me just pull it up, was saying that they visited Guelph campus recently and didn't notice much diversity among students and staff. How would you say Guelph addresses diversity and inclusion? So at the U of G, we really try to keep diversity and inclusion at the forefront in mind. In our office, specifically for Student Experience Office, we ensure that we have programming that meets all sort of diverse student needs. But we also have diverse staff that support our students. So we have a LGBTQ2IA+ student advisor who meets with students in that community and can talk through some of the challenges, help them go through or seek accommodations. So for instance, they can help navigate the university system in changing their name on campus. We also have an Indigenous students advisor, and we have an Indigenous student center within our department that puts on programming for Indigenous students, brings in elders to meet with students, but also all of our advisors do educational programming to educate the wider campus about these different groups. And then we also have our BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, and people of color advisor, who again can meet with students in the BIPOC community and can really help students navigate any challenges or just be someone there to listen and learn in the community. But we also have a variety of different student clubs. Olivia spoke to Guelph Queer Equality, or GQE, who really aim at creating that safe space for students, but also educating. We have the Indigenous Students Association, the Guelph Black Students Association, and we really help support these student groups in running events, bringing the communities together and helping provide a safer space on campus. We also have a question. I think that is for Simran, actually. And how was your experience being a student in justice and legal studies?
This is like a newer program that was like introduced, but it is really similar to the program I'm in. So I'm in criminal justice and public policy, and this was like a newer one that is like stemmed out of that program, but this one is more focused upon like the legal and like lawyer aspect of it. And criminal justice and public policy has more like practical application to like policing as well as lawyering and like that sort of profession. So I would say that is like the difference between the two programs. But I can speak about my experience in the criminal justice and public policy program. Personally, it's been really rewarding. I find it like there's great learning opportunities. I find the classroom environment to be like really engaging. All of my classmates are really great to make connections with. And quite often, a lot of times, my teachers like to bring in guest speakers, whether that's like lawyers or paralegals or other people in the legal profession. So we're able to learn more about what we're wanting to do after our undergrad and like actually enter into our careers. So it's really great for that. And I would say my experience in this program has been really great, and I'm excited to see what else it has to offer.
Awesome. Thank you, Simran. So if you folks have other questions for our student panelists, you can pop them in the Q&A portion of the chat. But as we wrap up, I think it would be really great for our new Griffins to hear from you folks about maybe one piece of advice that you would give a new Griffin. Olivia, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, for sure. So I would definitely recommend not only getting involved in different clubs and committees on campus, but to also get involved with the greater Guelph community. I find Guelph has such a rich community outside of campus, and there are so many opportunities to volunteer and get to know different community members as well. So I think it's really rewarding to volunteer with the greater community inside and outside of campus.
Thank you for sharing, Olivia. Simran, what is a piece of advice you would give our new Griffins?
I would say to try as much as possible, especially in your first year. Quite often, there's so many things that are available, and as a student at Guelph that you might not even really be aware of, or you might not even be sure that you are interested in. But just giving it a try and seeing it and having a new experience can really like change your whole outlook and really can enhance your whole experience as a student.
Amazing. Thank you, Simran. And Adam, what is your piece of advice?
For sure. So it sounds cliche, but just put yourself out there. I would say, like, right from the very beginning, just really put yourself out there and try to get involved as many things as you can. As a third year student, the one thing I hear the most from my friends who are, just getting involved or hearing about my involvement is, I wish I had joined sooner. I wish I'd joined this club sooner or gotten involved sooner or done all of these things. So I'd say just right from the very beginning, orientation week is a great opportunity to really see everything that's available to you on campus, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and it'll be a very rewarding experience.
Thank you, Adam. And last but not least, Swati, what is your piece of advice you'd like to share?
So my piece of advice would really be, if you're a first year student and you're coming in, and in high school or just while growing up, there's something you're passionate about, stick to it and figure out what you can make out of it on campus. For example, if you like working with student wellness, or you want to support students and their mental health and you're a big advocate, or if you like sports and you want to be part of an intramural team, keep at it, just because there's so many opportunities that kind of nurture your passions and kind of allow you to kind of blossom a little bit and branch out and make more opportunities out of something that might have just been your hobby at some point. Definitely explore that, because this is the time to do it. And it's going to be very exciting when you're in first year and then suddenly you're in fourth year and you look back and all the things that you took a chance on, and it'll be great. So best of luck.
Thank you, Swati, for sharing. So we have a few questions. They're being answered in the chat, but we have someone is wondering about mental health services and supports. So we actually have our wellness office here at the U of G, and they offer a variety of different things. So they have counseling services, so students can make appointments with counselors and then meet and discuss. They also have the Wellness Education Promotion Center. So similar to what Simran mentioned, they run a lot of peer support programs that are supervised by professionals to promote mental health and wellness, healthy nutrition as well. But maybe we'll put this to our student panel. Do any of you want to speak about kind of mental wellness supports on campus?
I can quickly speak about the Student Support Network, which is a peer-run kind of support network. It's on a drop-in basis. It can also be anonymous, where you just talk to an upper student or a fellow student, and it's completely confidential, just because we recognize that there are some barriers when it comes to reaching out to professional support or whatever it may be. You can talk to a student, and just so you get the student perspective. And yeah, it's definitely something to look into if you would like to talk to a fellow student.
Thank you, Swati. That's awesome. It's an awesome initiative. Again, different tiers in terms of peer support, and then speaking with professional advisors as well. That is the end of our formal programming, but we'll stick around and maybe ask if anyone has some potential questions for ourselves, for myself, or for our student panelists, to drop them in the question and answer function on the webinar. So we'll see if a few other folks would like to ask anything, but thank you so much to our wonderful student panel for joining us today. I know you're all very busy students. It's coming towards the end of the semester, and I know you all have lots to do, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend to share a lot of your amazing knowledges with our students as well. A student is wanting to ask our student panel, what is your favorite part of U of G? Does anyone want to jump in and answer the question?
I can jump in. I would say the food. I feel like a lot of people say this and like hear this, but like Guelph is kind of known for having pretty much gourmet food on campus. We have really high quality dishes. There's a lot of different international options, and there's really just a great wide variety, which is great to see. I would definitely recommend Krillman as probably one of the best dining halls on campus. Some nights they even have like steak nights, literally just like the wide variety that they have. Like they have 100-mile grill, like a pasta bar, like you can customize pizza. Like it's just so many options. I just really love it.
Anyone else want to share some of their favorite parts? I do agree. The food is amazing. Creelman Bakery has these brownies that are so good. Anyone else want to jump in?
I'll quickly jump in and say that taking walks in the Arboretum is just beautiful. Probably not during peak winter time, but definitely during, you know, a day like this, taking a walk in the Arboretum with just like a cup of coffee, it's a good time.
Thank you, Swati. The Arboretum is beautiful. Olivia or Adam, did you want to jump in and share?
Yeah, I can definitely agree. The food is amazing, especially the Krillman Bakery. They have lots of cakes and brownies and things. I also like all of the like intramural sports opportunities. I played hockey when I was younger and then kind of got out of it. And I played intramural hockey in first year and enjoyed it so much. It's such a good opportunity to meet people and play sports and get active. So I definitely recommend.
That's so cool, Olivia. Hockey is amazing, and I'm glad you got to kind of reconnect with that at U of G. What about you, Adam? What's your favorite part of U of G?
There's so many. You know, the other panelists kind of hit the nail on the head. I would say the food is delicious. The Arboretum is so beautiful, and it's so huge. I didn't realize how big it was until this summer. I really took some time to explore it. And then also intramurals is super fun, but I would say overall, my favorite part is probably just the kind of community feeling within Guelph. And that's the main reason why I chose to come to Guelph in the first place. It's just everyone is so friendly. All of the staff and faculty are just willing to help you and really put the students first. And so just kind of that community feeling and feeling like I was a part of a community was just probably my favorite part of Guelph.
Thank you, Adam. We have a few questions. So one is, how is the gym at Guelph? So can students use it at any time? So there is a gym at U of G. I believe athletics is also doing a presentation that you can learn more about. Like Olivia kind of spoke to, they run different intramural sessions. There's also a typical gym kind of with weight room. There's also a rock climbing wall that students can participate in as well. So that is a great opportunity. And a great question as well that I think our students could speak to. A student is wondering, what are some challenges you might have faced in your first year? And was it difficult connecting yourself with other students at first? Anyone want to? Olivia.
Yeah, I definitely struggled making friends in high school. Like the transition from elementary to high school, I really struggled with. So in university, I like made a plan on how I was going to make friends. I was in residence in first year, so I really tried to put myself out there and make friends. And I made plenty of friends on my floor. I'm actually roommates with a few of them now, which is great. And then it's also joining different clubs and committees. You make lots of friends through that and gain a better support network. So I would definitely recommend that as well.
Thank you, Olivia. Would anyone else like to share kind of they faced challenges in their first year or what that experience was like of making friends?
I can jump in real quick. Olivia, I would say like kind of nailed it for sure. Like just, getting involved is a great way to make friends. And then also one thing I remember was during O week, pretty much every single person I bumped into, it was just like, what's your major? Like, where do you live? And then all sorts of like just great time to meet people. Everyone is so, willing to meet others because as much as going in, I kind of felt like I was alone. Like I didn't really know anyone at Guelph. I think I didn't remember that everyone else was in the same boat. So just, realizing that everyone's looking to make friends, everyone, every single stranger is a potential friend at Guelph. So just keeping that in mind was big for me.
Thanks, Adam. We have a few questions as well about like feeling overwhelmed, maybe about thinking of moving out, or do you have to live in residence in your first year? Can you live off campus and make similar connections? So I think it's absolutely completely normal to feel nervous or overwhelmed when thinking about moving out. Even myself personally, I moved out of my parents' house. I was an only child, or still am an only child. And it was exciting, but also really nerve-wracking. And I think one of the wonderful things that our students have highlighted is when you come to Guelph, and especially during orientation week, you're all sort of in the same boat in the sense that, there's students from all across Canada, all across the world, and they're all kind of in the same boat looking to make those connections and friends and really wanting to make those relationships. And it's a really great way by getting involved during O week, but also getting involved in the broader community and making connections in residence as well. And there's definitely opportunity. We have a large population of students who live off campus as well. And some of our events in orientation week are actually specifically designed for off-campus students to meet other off-campus students, because we recognize that it can be a little bit easier if you're living in residence to just go down the hall and meet someone who's also living there. But for off-campus students, we really want to give folks a connection point. We also have OCUS, which is our Off-Campus Students Association, which puts on events specifically for off-campus students as well. So they host like movie nights. They host an annual murder mystery dinner party, which looks super fun, and specifically for that off-campus community and trying to get those connections. And then the last question I think we'll take just for the sake of time, and maybe the students can answer this one as well, are your professors and TAs approachable for questions? Anyone want to speak to professors and TAs?
Sure, I can speak to that. I find I have personally have not had a problem reaching out to professors. Most of them have like a 2-day window, like they'll respond within 2 days. I don't know if that made much sense, but they typically respond really quickly, especially in classes that have labs and more like you're more working with TAs. I find the TAs are super helpful. I've never had a problem in my undergrad, so definitely a good resource to reach out to.
Thanks, Olivia. And it definitely can feel a little daunting, right? Especially if you're in a large like first year class and your professors and TAs will actually have office hours that they specifically will set aside for you folks in that class to come and chat with them if you have any questions. And it can feel pretty nerve-wracking, I think, the first time you go to them, but they literally are sitting in their office just for you. And if you don't come, they're just sitting there. So I think they're really approachable for questions. And then we have another question that maybe some of you folks can talk about as well. But what's it like living off campus? So things like transportation or meeting others. Does anyone want to speak to maybe living off campus and what that's been like?
I can speak a bit about it. Guelph is really definitely a student city. So when you're off campus and living off campus, there's still a really great chance that you're going to be surrounded by students and it's going to be a great community. And because of the way the area is, there are so many bus routes and so many options to get to campus. It is like really accessible and it's really easy to make it super fast to really get from like point A to point B and make sure like you're at your classes on time, especially when there's a lot of like 8:30 a.m. classes and you have to be on campus super early. There's always bus routes running and it's really nice just being able to like go to the station right in the front of the university center. And it's just really easy to navigate too. If you're off campus, if you're ever unsure about how like the buses work, you can just use Google Maps and it will literally tell you exactly like which platform to go to, or if you need to like walk. And as a student, you get like the U of G bus pass included included in your tuition. So it's really great option and it'll be available like throughout the city, which is really great.
Amazing. Well, we've come to the end of our time together and I'm not seeing any other questions. But a huge thank you, round of applause to our panelists for sharing their weekend with us and spending some time with us and their wonderful insights. And a huge thank you to all our attendees and their great questions. If you do have any questions, say after you leave the sessions or you leave as you're continuing throughout your journey at U of Guelph, you can always email start@uoguelph.ca and we can help you answer any questions, or we can direct you to the people that you would need to talk to get those questions answered. So thank you everyone for attending today, and I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye everyone.